Pro, you can pass in 1 day. Wait, is there, let's see, no activation? Why were people saying Flex is better then? What's the vote out right now? Pro is like winning by a hair. Pro has daily loss limit and consistency. Oh, every single day you can't get out of that buffer. Every single day they reset the daily loss limit, right? Is it like that in Flex too? No, so there's no daily loss limit in Flex. That's why. So Lucid Pro is a static account then. So every single day you have $2,700 of drawdown to work with. So Flex better than Pro. Okay. Wait, Pro, the daily loss limit grows with the more profits you get, but why does it say there's a fixed daily loss limit of $2,700 in the 150K? I'm trading Apex for sure. I'm just looking to see what we should trade on these other accounts. Gold is coming back down. That's gold. Look at that. It moves up as property, move up 60% of the peak of the day. But then the next day that you go to trade, let's just say I made $10,000 in a single day, right? On Lucid Pro. The next day I open up my account, I still get $2,700 of drawdown, right? That's it. So the drawdown doesn't you don't leave the drawdown behind like you would on the Lucid Flex. No? I'm talking about Lucid. So on Lucid Pro, it says there's a fixed daily loss limit of $2,700. Can you leave that behind? Like, if you make 4K, is your drawdown the next day now $6,700? Or it chases you every single day? It's $2,700 every single day, right? Now I'm looking in the funded account. Lucid Pro funded account. It says fixed daily loss limit of $2,700. That's what I'm reading on this. Daily loss limit. Maximum amount that you can lose. Fixed. That does not change over time. Okay, wait, hold on. Once the account closes above the initial trail, the fixed deal is replaced by the Lucid scale. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it's 60% of whatever your profit is. So it actually gets smaller and smaller. Is Wealth Charts the best option for Apex? I'm not sure. I kind of want to hit gold in this. I mean, in the Lucid Flex here. Was it G6? Like a G6, baby.
Did you ever have like opposing positions? And you're like, "Fuck you, I'm short, you're long," call each other like, "I'm gonna get you."
Yeah. It's been no, not really, right? No. I think we do sort of counterbalance each other a little bit. I mean, I think the more important question is how I managed to stay married.
Yeah,
because my wife was a trader for
that's
she was
a wild
broker for
too.
sort of 10 years, traded for about 9 years, and she works in trade day, so she has to sit with me and deal with me day in day out. So, but no, I mean, it's great. Steve's in the UK, I'm in the US. We can, we are on Slack all the time, bouncing ideas back and forward off each other. It means that, somebody senior is involved with the business, which essentially is a 23 or 24 hour, you could call it. The market's obviously closed for 1 hour. A 23-hour business, and Steve's up during the UK time and into the US day, and quite late into the UK evening, and I'm up early US morning, late into the US evening. You know? So we got some sort of making sure that we have sort of senior management coverage. And being able to serve our traders, so it works that way.
I would say you guys, of all the prop firms out there, probably have the most like hands-on approach.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
You've got your daily calls. You've got you're putting out a lot of educational info directly from you guys yourselves, not just like there's other owners of prop firms out there that, to be honest, they have no fucking clue what a candlestick even is. So I give you props. I give you props that you guys actually have some fucking clue what's going on, because it's like at the end of the day, the whole point of a prop firm, I think we like we talked about earlier, but like it's lost the meaning, right? Like a prop firm used to be, you come to a prop firm, you then learn from like the prop firm, you learn from the other experienced traders, and then you build up your book, and then you move up. Right? Where now it's just like everyone's free for all. Like, hey, come here, get your sim payouts, and then go fuck yourself. So it's kind of like that's the new genre of prop firms. Where you guys worked in actual prop firms back in the day. You went and somebody was like, hey, if you fucking lose money, I'm gonna beat your ass at the end of the day. But you were like, don't lose more than $200. Like that was the real prop firm. Somebody basically backing you. And saying, hey, I trust you to not lose more than $200 a day.
100%. I mean, I think the big difference is, when you're managing and running a professional trading group or PTG or prop group, it's much more active management, right? Your trader is sitting on the desk. As a new trader, you're sitting on a desk with experienced traders guiding you. You have your risk manager or your head of desk looking at your positions, telling you, right, enough's enough, you're done for the day, or go walk around the block. Whereas it's much more passive as an online prop firm. The traders sitting at home, they're on their own. They might be in a Discord or they might be in some sort of online community, but it's not the same. There's no accountability other than to themselves. And for that reason, I think it's harder. Actually, I think it's harder for the guy at home than it is for the guy in the office.
Yeah. Well, I guess, the funny question too would be, working in an office and seeing other people every day. I think there's like that accountability too, right? Like you have accountability where, when you're trading in your second bedroom at home and you blow up your accounts, you close the door and you go out and watch TV. When you blow up the prop firm accounts working in an actual office, it's kind of like, I got to talk to someone about this. That's going to be an awkward conversation at the end of the day. You know?
100%. I mean, there's definitely a more of an accountability, as you say. And it's lonely, right? Trading's hard. It's a lonely place to be, And I think that's why you do see, the likes of the channel here, right? Discord groups, etc. They're all very, very, very popular because people need that sense of community, the sense of belonging, the sense of it's not just me. I'm not the only one, fucking up today. Other people are screwing up. Other people are blowing their accounts, so it's we're in this boat together as opposed to I'm sat alone and feeling the pain, slowly alone. And everyone can shout about the winners, but it's when it's managing the losers. We were again chatting earlier about that, right? It's managing the losers that are key to long-term success as opposed to managing the winners.
Yeah. Well, we talked about earlier. I asked James, what would be the ideal plan if you had a brand new trader who came to you and was like, hey man, I want to become a trader and work with you, blah, blah, blah. Like, what would be the plan you set them up with? And you were like a 6-month, sim account and be like, hey, don't lose more than $200 a day, and do this for 6 months. And then we'll talk in 6 months. But it's like, now I want my instant funding. Yeah. I want my instant payouts. Yeah. I mean, hell,
let's go.
You don't even have to trade anymore. Just give me money.
Yeah.
Like, James, you owe me. I just signed up. We're like, what?
Yeah.
James, I just paid $100 for an account. I want my $10,000 payout now. So.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's a crazy world that we live in. we get feedback. Oh, your valuation should be 1 day or 2 days. It's BS. And
it's not really an evaluation at that point.
I know. Well, I understand. We exist in an industry where it's hyper competitive, right? Yeah. And you have to have a program that people will purchase. But theoretically, or you step back and you think about what that person's asking. They're asking to be put in a situation to be funded after a track record of 1 or 2 days. And it's a bit like you want to reverse the question to them and say, if you were investing your money in somebody, let's say your 401k, and the 401k manager said there's a great new trader on the block, he's got a 2-day track record, can I put some of your portfolio in it? You're going to be like, hell no, Yeah. So, of course, what we do is, completely sort of different. It's just, it always makes me smile when people say, I only need a day to prove that I'm a good trader with you, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. No way.
Yeah.
Just 1 day. 1 day is all it takes.
Yeah.
All right, so obviously we established you got some experience. You've been around the block a few times. You've probably seen every gimmick. You've seen every, sales pitch on how to get rich in the market.
Yeah.
And that's funny thing too. I was gonna ask you too, as I guess, as the internet obviously becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Back in the day, before the internet and all that, it's funny because there still was kind of like gurus.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
Like there was like day trading gurus selling like VHS tapes, selling mentorships, in person, selling books.
Yeah.
So do you think that that there has always been kind of just people out there promising riches in the markets?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%,
now it's just different delivery.
Yeah.
Different delivery. Yeah.
Because I remember like the Najarian brothers. I think it was Najarian brothers. Their name. Yeah. And they, back in the day, they would send people like a book in the mail.
Yeah.
Claim your free book offer now.
Yeah.
To learn how to trade.
Yeah. So I've got a story for you. I mean, this is before even going to the industry. I was really, really interested in trading, and somehow I was pitched, probably in the back of a newspaper or a journal or something in the classifieds.
Yeah.
A system. And it was a guy called Wells Wilder, and he did, I can't even remember what it was called, but essentially the book was a technical analysis book that tried to identify trends based on moon cycles.
Okay.
Right? And it was an expensive investment for me. It's like 250 quid in the 1988, 1989.
What was it that drew you to that?
I wanted to be a successful trader. I wanted to know how to start. I wanted to understand markets.
But you weren't like the moon cycle. This must be bullshit.
Well, do you know what? I didn't, because I was young. I didn't know shit, So
that's like people with ICT.
Yeah.
It's the ICTs of the world.
But I will say this. Let me just finish this anecdote outright, because I like, obviously I didn't really even apply it. I tried to apply it a little bit, and then what happened is I went for an interview with a firm, and I said, they said, what first? No, it worked. No, listen. He said, what first got you interested in markets? And I said, well, to be honest, it was a book called, I can't even remember what it was called because it was like 30 years ago, right? But by Wells Wilder, and it was about, and it's about this. And he looked at me and he goes, that's really interesting, as one of our biggest clients follows that system. You're hired.
No way.
And I got the job.
I'll add to that, because there was GAN. So
right.
GAN definitely. So you've got his GAN lines. Because I'm a technical analysis nerd. But he also used astrology as well. So GAN, and he's like super respected even to today, right? And
so I mean,
for me, that's.
So I think I think if I remember rightly, right, the premise is this. The moon controls the tides. Gravity controls the tides. And 70% of the human body is made up of water.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm just telling you.
Based on the moon right now, what should we do? Long or short and open? That's what the chat wants.
I think we should go to the pub.
Moon.
No. I know. But, it goes to the heart of the question that Patrick had, is like, have people always been selling systems?
Yeah.
And they have, and have people always been buying them? Yeah, I was like one of the first.
People used to sign off for little tips, share tips, sheets. They would be in the back of the Wall Street show. And in the UK, you used to
call this number,
call out the coupon and send it off. So there's always been, but some of it, this is the problem, right? And it does translate to today, because there's like a lot of it, 80-90% of it is like snake oil, right? And that's the trouble. It's cutting through for you guys out there, right? It's cutting through the BS, right? And finding someone who's honest, that doesn't say every trade I do is a winner. Follow this system. It's going to be. My thought is always this, right? If you've got a system that works and it's going to work over time, why the hell do you need to sell it? There's no reason at all to sell it. To monetize it. If you've struck gold, why are you then selling the shovels? The only people that sell the shovels, that are those that haven't struck gold.
Well, you also know the truth is, like, if there was a trader out there that was just like amazing, right? He's just an amazing trader, and he knows exactly where the market's going to go at all times. Like, someone's going to hire him.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to get hired.
Like who?
Well, not a prop firm, but
but who might be a trader who knows where it's going all the time?
Nobody.
Is there anyone you think might profess to be
ICT? Well, I don't know why ICT has not been hired by. I think Trump should hire ICT, right? To then trade the U.S. money. Right? Because think about, like, I still don't understand this. Why doesn't Trump just buy a bunch of puts on the NASDAQ and then tweet saying that he's gonna get rid of the NASDAQ. The market drops 300 fucking points instantly. He cashes out. Bam! America's on top.
Pays off the national debt.
We're going to pay off the national debt by market manipulation.
Look, I know there is a section of the community that really, believe in ICT, and I don't want to,
alienate
them. I think it's a really good thing. But look, what ICT has done for a lot of people, I think, is open them up to thinking about strategy, right, and forming and building a strategy. And I think that's good. But I will say this, I was from the professional trading world. I've worked with traders at banks and at hedge funds. When I was at the exchange, my job was to build volume into the exchange by traveling around the world, talking to proprietary trading desks, banks, hedge funds, asset managers, commercial hedgers, everybody. I never once in my up until 1990, so what would have been 2020, what would have been almost a 30-year career in markets, had heard the word ICT, right? And if I'd ever said to any trader in a bank, who's this ICT character that programmed the algorithm that controls the market, they would have kicked me out the door, and laughed at me out the door.
The problem is he can't trade anymore because he made too much money.
Oh, that was it. Damn, yeah.
Don't you hate when that happens? Your broker calls you and says, James, you've made too much money. We're going to have to cut you off.
Yeah. So that's why I don't understand as well. I read somewhere that it had been kicked out of every broker. So why would a broker kick someone out who's making money? Because that person's trading and generating commission. Every broker in the world would want him.
Sorry.
So, I just want to say this. Look, to put a sort of box around it, I love the way that Wells Wilder got me interested in markets and got me thinking about strategies and developing strategies of my own. And I think ICT and other courses do similar things. But to believe that there's one person that programmed the market and knows the, was talked to by G's, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And, my jaw dropped when I started to tumble down this sort of retail trading rabbit hole. I'm like, people believe this? So it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the funny thing, right? Because I'm sure if you went back in the 90s, you could have found some guru who was selling something.
Yeah,
and you're like,
100%.
who's buying this?
Yeah.
But so that's since the dawn of time. People have been selling snake oil, right?
Absolutely.
Way back in the day, they sold the cure for every disease in a little bottle from some guy in a wagon.
100%.
Just went through your little gypsy going through your little town. Going,
in his wagon.
Oh, you got some erectile dysfunction? Take this little pill. Oh man. So it's funny too because we were talking too earlier about just how the London used to be really the epicenter of trading, and New York and now do you think, I guess because of computers and everything, it's really just kind of leveled the field and given people around the world an opportunity, access. And then we also talk, like you were saying, about the the tides and the stuff like that. There is I think factual information on the idea of finding some kind of little trick to the markets, right? Like we were talking about yesterday. Back in the day, people were flying drones over the oil reserves and trying to scan them to figure out how much oil was in the things. And it's that's an edge, right? Someone figured out an edge. They're using satellite images to figure out how many tankers are moving across the Juarez Canal before the numbers come out. flying drones over the oil reserves, trying to scan them to figure out how much oil was in the things. And it's like, you know, that's an edge, right? Someone figured out an edge. They're using satellite images to figure out how many tankers are moving across the Juarez Canal before the numbers come out. Flying drones over the oil reserves, trying to scan them to figure out how much oil was in the things. And it's like, you know, that's an edge, right? Someone figured out an edge. They're using satellite images to figure out how many tankers are moving across the Juarez Canal before the numbers come out. Flying drones over the oil reserves, trying to scan them to figure out how much oil was in the things. And it's like, you know, that's an edge, right? Someone figured out an edge. They're using satellite images to figure out how many tankers are moving across the Juarez Canal before the numbers come out.